Hi everyone, my name is Roberto Iezzi, and currently I'm the Director of Performance at Dubai Basketball, a newborn basketball club based in Dubai. And previously to this role, I worked as a Head of Performance in Brescia, First Division team, OS Basketball in Italy. And before that, I spent 3 years as the Head Strength and Conditioning Coach with Hapoel Jerusalem in Israel. And this is my 17th season as a professional strength coach, and basically working in basketball was my first and only job. So I've been doing this for all my life, basically. I also have a background as a baseball player. I used to play semi-professional baseball in Italy. For those who don't know that there is some baseball in Italy, there is.
I did it.
And so I was making some small money out of it. So it was my side hustle, let's say. And I really had a lot of fun doing that. I'm a husband to my beautiful wife and a father of 2. And the whole family now lives in Dubai, and we are really enjoying this great opportunity that we got.
Thank you, Roberto. My first question, looking back at your time in elite basketball and with elite basketball teams and youth development programs, etc., can you share a moment where an athlete's recovery protocol completely changed the trajectory of their season or even their career? And what did you learn from it?
It happened a couple of times with 2 athletes. Both of them were veteran athletes, and they discovered, let's say, the value of recovery later during their career, when they were already 35 or 36. And they understood better what recovery can do for their performance. They understood better how to train properly on a daily basis, how to eat better, how to sleep better. And thanks to that, they were able to play at a high level from the age of 35, 36 up to the age of 40. So this happened twice. And the thing that both of them told me was, if I only understood before the importance of recovering, the importance of eating well, sleeping well, and using a lot of different recovery modalities throughout my career, probably I would have had more success during my career. So it happened 2 times, yes.
Wow. Was there anything in particular? You mentioned sleep. You mentioned, was it sleep mostly, predominantly, or?
Eating and sleeping were the most important ones. And of course, most of these athletes burn a crazy amount of calories. Okay, so most of them, they're not really used to eating clean, because at the end of the day, they're gonna eat whatever they want. They're still gonna be lean and perform at the highest level when they're young. The older they get, the more they understand the importance of eating clean, eating well, to fuel their body properly to perform at the highest level. So this is one thing. And on the other hand, also sleep. Sleep is crucial to high performance. But again, when you're young, probably you don't value sleeping that much. If you're young, you want to go out, you want to celebrate, you want to party with your friends, even if you are a professional athlete. And again, you can play a game, go to a club, and the day after perform at the highest level when you're 20. When you're 35, if you do that, man, you're dead for 2 weeks, basically. So that's something that you can definitely not do at that age. But again, if you start early in your career adopting those kind of behaviors, your career can be longer, your career can be more successful. And at the end of the day, you can feel better overall. And also, your life after basketball will be way better, because you will already have a lot of good habits established. And so you don't need to re-establish all your life, basically, because you have already all those routines, let's say, in place from your professional career.
And as a strength and conditioning coach, I suppose you have to periodize their training around their game time and also take in consideration their recovery strategies. Just for those that perhaps don't know too much about basketball, can you paint a picture of what a typical basketball player's daily routine or weekly routine is in regards to training, game time?
Yeah, it depends on which league you play, of course, because there are a lot of different leagues. There are leagues where you play only once a week, some others where you play twice, some others where you play 3 to 4 times a week. Let's say here in Europe. In Europe, we have 3 types, basically. One is when you play only your domestic league, which is the case of my club this year. So you play basically only once a week. And second option, you play 2 leagues. So you play maybe Sunday and then Wednesday or Thursday. If you play in Europe, usually you have Euro Cup and Champions League, which are the 2 most important leagues. And then there is a third option where you play 3 times a week. So you play during the weekend your domestic league, and then you play Tuesday and Thursday.
Wow.
in the Euro League. So basically you play 3 times a week. So it depends on which league you're playing. Let's give an example about my team this year. So we decided to practice only once a day because we don't like to practice twice. That's something that never made a lot of sense to me. And so we want to give all our effort, all our energy for that one session. Usually team practice is around 11:30. I mean, we have team meeting at 11:30, but it's very short, like 10 minutes, and then practice starts. Before that, the players start coming in around 9:30 or 10 to work on what we call vitamins. So vitamins are some works that the players need to do for themselves, whether it's some kind of work with the physios, or it's some kind of work with me in the weight room, or some kind of work with the skills coach on the court, or a little bit of everything, you know. So from 9:30 to, let's say, 9:30, 10 to 11:30, the players work for themselves. From 11:30 to 1:30, according to how long the practice is for that specific day, the players work for the team. So we have a team practice. Once the practice finished, again, there is a short part where the players go back to working for themselves, where they start their recovery process. This year, I need to be honest, the recovery process is very short because playing once a week, there's not much we need to recover from. But hopefully next year we will be playing in another league, so we will have multiple games a week, and then the recovery process will be much more important, of course. And let's say if you play in one of those teams that compete 3 times a week, or if you play in the NBA where sometimes you also play 4 times a week, recovery is crucial because you don't have time. You don't have time the day after. You need to recover immediately. So the recovery process plays a crucial role in those environments.
Understood. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, you in a different league next year, and you'll need more recovery. Which then leads on to the second question: if you could design a recovery room for every professional basketball team, what 3 non-negotiables, tools or methods would you include, and what would there be a particular order of operation to get the most out of them?
Yeah. So first of all, let's start with this. First of all, I would like to educate all my players on the pillars of recovery, like we just said, like nutrition, sleep, and also good training. So these 3 must be in place, and the players must be educated on these 3. Once the players can manage these 3 aspects of recovery, we can move to some other recovery tools or recovery modalities that sometimes are also a little bit more fancy, but of course they're useful. If I have to design a recovery room, I will have a space where I can have a physio bed. So I would like to have a physiotherapist in the room that can provide some kind of massage, or a physio bed where the players can use some tools like, I don't know, Normatec, for example. Then I would have another space where players can work on myofascial release and stretching. And the third part would be another place where players can work actively. So I would put maybe some bikes and some light resistance, some lightweight, where the players can actually move. And I will go in this order. So physio bed, myofascial release, stretching, bike, or some lightweight lifting.
Nice. Like my type of strength and conditioning playground, actually. Yes. And you mentioned the most important part is the foundation, the nutrition and sleep, educating on them, and then adding the fancy parts. Would you or have you utilized any type of technology, cold water immersion? Have you used hyperbaric red light? Are these such things becoming popular? Do you see an importance to these just yet? Or is it something that's perhaps a bit too soon in the basketball world, perhaps?
Yeah, so I've been using intermittent pneumatic compression, like I said. I've been using also cold water immersion and contrast water immersion.
Nice.
Yeah, these are the main three tools that I've been using with my athletes.
Hot and cold water, right?
Yeah, hot and cold water, yes. That contrast.
Interesting you say that, because we kind of forgot, well, there's a certain section of the population that's kind of forgot hot and cold. They typically go down the sauna and the cold water. But I've been a big and huge fan of hot and cold water for some time.
You know, I'm not a big fan of sauna unless it's a dry room. Most of the time we don't have the correct humidity of the air, and if the humidity is too much, then we have a metabolic stress that absolutely don't want with our athletes.
Interesting. And that's
so
what you found?
Especially when we travel with the team, if there is a sauna that I don't have control of, I usually don't recommend it to the players.
So we're talking of a traditional dry sauna,
like a steam room or something like that. I don't want them to use it, you know.
Okay.
Unless I control I can control the humidity of the room. I don't recommend it for my.
You like to be in control of every situation, so you can somewhat control the outcome, should I say?
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. You've worked with both up-and-coming youth and seasoned pros, as you've mentioned. How do your recovery strategies change depending on the age, training volume, or injury history? Or, as you mentioned, you've got players that you start with young, but then they become more mature and more older, and other responsibilities start to enter their life. We mentioned prior to coming onto the podcast, kids, and family, and things change. So, with that all in mind, what are the recovery strategies and how do they change from person to person?
So my approach didn't really change much. The only thing that changed is the availability of the tools that I have. You know, how can I say? The more important the club you work with is, the bigger the budget is, of course.
Yep.
So I have access to a lot of different tools that maybe 17 years ago I didn't have access to.
Yes.
So my approach didn't really change much. As I said, I like to focus on the three basic principles of nutrition, sleep, and good training. And then based on what I have available, I try to organize like recovery sessions, and I try also to educate the players on which are the best recovery modalities for them in that specific moment. So yeah.
Okay. You brought a memory back, and it's a point when you had to be quite resourceful in the past, because you quite rightly said you didn't have access to such technology because of the budget or whatever. But if given the opportunity and you had the budget and the accessibility to some of these really advanced technologies and recovery strategies, would it be something that would become something standardized for you and it would always be available, make it available for your athletes? Or have you just got used to being so resourceful that you find ways to help them recover anyway?
I would like to make it always available for my athletes. Yes, absolutely. But I also believe on using a strategy as far as using recovery tools. You know, I don't want them to use the same recovery modality on a daily basis. Usually one thing that I like to do at the beginning of the season is to ask them, which is your favorite recovery modality? And based on that answer, I try to save that modality for the most important part of the season.
Interesting.
And I try to not use that modality every single day. Because at the end of the day, if I use that during the most important part of the season, which usually is the playoffs, the finals, and so on, that modality will have even a bigger effect, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
While if you use it on a daily basis, maybe the effect will be lower and lower every day.
And I would imagine, without realizing it, that, or maybe you had, that if you had access to everything, you perhaps wouldn't be so selective, if that makes sense. Environment, my background's gym, so you'll see gyms just fit out a gym full of every piece of equipment they can possibly imagine, with no thought process as to how a user would utilize this gym equipment. They just place it in a random order, and they'll just, the typical gym member will just go from one machine to another without any thought process of actually what they're doing. So I suppose my question is, or my point is, based on what you've just said, is I like the fact that you're a bit more engineered about how one would use this recovery modalities. It wouldn't be just the case that because you have it, that we use it, we utilize it based on the individual.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot design a weight room or a recovery room just based on the money that your club has. No, you need to be smart on that, and you need to buy only the things that you really need. Not just because one tool is fancy or super expensive, you have to buy it. No,
Yep.
It doesn't work that way. You gotta be very useful, and again, you gotta educate the players. They really need to understand why they're using something. So the process must be an active process.
And I like the pressured environment that you're in, because you ultimately have to get these players ready for game day, right? For match day.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. We want players to be available for game days.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. What's the one belief you've changed your mind on about recovery in elite sport? Something that you perhaps preached before, but now you would handle differently?
Managing training.
Training
Early in my career.
Training is in the practical side of it, the technical side of it, as well as the strength training.
Strength training. Early in my career, when I was younger, I thought the athlete could work hard on every single day. But if you do that there's no time to recover. I mean, players cannot recover well for game days. So the older I get, the more I understand how important it is to undulate the load for my players. So yeah, there are days where we're gonna go hard, but those days must be followed by a day where we work a little bit less, we work a little bit smarter, we recover a little bit more. So yes, this is the thing that changed the most throughout my career.
Your training strategy. And would you put more onus on strength and training in off-season or pre-season rather than throughout the season?
No, not really. I mean, my players work a lot in the weight room during the season. But as I said, I like to have players around every day. Most of them come to the weight room 3 to 5 times a week, so almost every day. But as I said, sometimes they come to lift for 40 minutes. Some others, they come to stay there only for 10, 15 minutes. They just do some basic exercises to activate, some specific area that they need to work on. But I like them to be around the weight room as much as possible. But again, I like to undulate their load throughout the week.
I like that, the individualization. You mentioned earlier, vitamins, that they come in and do their own stuff. They've got their own customized protocol to follow prior to going into team environments. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And with professional basketball, travel, back-to-back games, constant load, we briefly touched on this earlier. With your strategies, I assume your players have a lot of time to fully recover. But how much homework do you give players in terms of recovery? Because you train once a day, so there's many hours of the day that they're left to their own choices. And you mentioned previously that as a young elite athlete, that there's temptation of partying, and those types of players can go out and you can turn up the next day and perform at a high level. When you get a little bit older, it changes for sure. So yeah, just going back to your points earlier, just emphasize the personalization and how things do change, and how much onus would you put on individuals that perhaps need more work and would actually expect them to do this homework in their own time?
Not many homeworks. No, I like them to do whatever they need to do there with me, under my control, under our physio's control. And yeah, as I said before, if you try to educate your players, then they know how to sleep, they know how to eat properly. So those are already some very important homeworks that they should do by themselves. But as far as other recovery modalities, sometimes there are some players that ask for some advice about some new technologies that they can use. Of course, I give them my opinion, but it's not a homework that I give them. Okay, so yeah, not many homeworks, let's say.
I suppose.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, continue, please. I interrupted you.
Yeah, and this is for this year. But let's say next year we will play 2 or 3 times a week. I don't know, but there is even less time for homeworks because we're gonna spend a lot of time together in some hotels. So that's completely different, you know.
I suppose perhaps then I didn't have this question prepared, but perhaps you can just paint a picture of the difference between elite level and recreational. Those that are probably upcoming, wanting to be professional. What's the subtle differences that you've experienced? Those that really turn to be professional and elite, to those that perhaps didn't quite make the level.
As far as what?
Probably talent, maybe look.
Talent is one. Talent is number one. Talent is number one, and then of course physical abilities. But talent is number one for sure.
Do you see that the individual that does make the highest of grade, are they a little bit more obsessed? Perhaps talking about homework, they would go home, study games, study players, study themselves, over those that perhaps do this a bit of more of a hobby more than anything else?
That's a good question, but I think that the thing that differentiates the athletes that make it to the highest level and the players that stay at the highest level is how much commitment they put into basketball. That makes sense, because talent can get you there, but talent cannot make you stay there. You know, you can get there because you're very talented, but you need to work very hard to stay at that level.
So consistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the highest level.
Yeah.
Perfect. Roberto, for those that want to learn more about yourself and follow your story and your protocols with your athletes and basketballers, where could they go to?
On Instagram, that's the best one. Roberto _Iezzi, IEZZI 34. That's my handle on Instagram. That's the best place.
Perfect. And just before we finish, I have one last question actually. We went back and forth, I think, on IG a few months back. I was questioning about wearable technology on athletes, the GPS device. Do you mind sharing if there's any other devices that you encourage the athletes to wear? The basketballers in particular. You mentioned the GPS is for one.
We use LPS because we are indoor, so we cannot use GPS. It's another technology very similar. It's called LPS. We work with Catapult, so that's a piece of technology that we use on a daily basis with our athletes, but that's very expensive. If you want to use something a little bit less expensive, you can still use some other wearables like, I don't know, Oura Ring or Whoop bands, all this kind of stuff. I mean, I constantly use a Oura Ring. It's a little bit hard to play basketball wearing this, but there are so many tools that can give you an idea of your external and also internal load on that specific day. So it depends on what kind of activity you do, what kind of sports you play, and also the resources that you have available.
And you find that the basketballers take it upon themselves to wear these wearables, or is it something that you encourage, or a combination of both?
And now a lot of teams use wearables during practice. Yeah. In Europe, we are still not allowed to wear them during games.
Okay.
But I think sooner or later, players will be able also to use them during games.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very insightful.